have a confession. We've never watched Lost.
Now, we're tired of hearing about it, so we're finally watching the hit TV show for the first time.
Come along with us to the island.
And please stay close by because
we're so lost.
We need to know where Alex is. We're also rewatching the classic ABC TV series Lost. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And we're back for another episode.
We're back.
I know. We have to go back. And we came back.
We're back.
And we're here.
We're back. Apparently people missed us.
Yeah. We have heard a lot of stuff, especially from our chatters over at live.universebox.com. We have Angel, Michael Lucero in the chat room tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
What's up, guys? Hopefully maybe a couple other people will hop in there.
Yes, that would be good.
That'd be super sweet.
Sweet.
Super sweet, replete. But we do kind of vary the night we record this a little bit. So if you want to join us in the chat room, just keep an eye on our Twitter at We're So Lost, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll let you know the day of.
Maybe the day before. Depends on if we're feeling frisky.
Yeah, when we're doing the recording and stuff. Because the schedule varies a little bit.
It varies because we have other shows.
The podcast always comes out on Monday.
Yes.
Every other Monday.
On the iTunes thing.
Yeah, on the iTunes.
Right.
On the iTunes. But
iTunes.
Anne-Marie, we are here to talk about Lost.
Hi.
Season 1, Episode 9. Why don't you go ahead and give us the rhyming episode summary, and then we'll get started.
How about I give them the spoiler policy and then the rhyming riddling summary?
Okay, yeah, actually, that's good.
Because that's where it comes in the doc.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Hi. We normally love spoilers, and we really, really do on shows that are currently airing, i.e. Once Upon a Time and Gotham. However, with Lost, since the entire series is already done and over with and memorized by certain people, we don't want spoilers. We are trying to watch this pure, if you will. Mm-hmm. So feel free to, comment and share and leave voicemails and such, but only through the episode we are currently on. If we say something and you're like, man, they're going to be so excited in season 3, episode 14 called blah, blah, blah. Don't tell us. You can be like, hey, keep an eye out later down the road, maybe in season 3, but don't tell us, date, time, timestamps.
Yeah, because that kind of ruins the conceit of the podcast.
Because
we're supposed to be lost.
And you know what? We kind of are.
We are.
So, okay, rhyming summary. Here we go.
Rhyming summary, okay.
Sayid runs off. Let me try it again. Sayid runs off on his own escapade. A Frenchwoman catches him deep in the glade. Hurley tries to keep everyone sane by recreating the Scot's greatest game. Sawyer joins in. Everyone's merry. Survivors are happy when not solitary.
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 Solitary. Anne-Marie, what'd you think?
I kind of really like this one.
Uh-huh.
I kind of really like it. I'm excited. We finally got some big revelations with Danielle. So that's neat. There are other people on the island. Mm-hmm. So that's fun.
That's something.
That's something, right?
And actually, you know what? That goes ahead and leads to my first point, which is the fact that, the revelation of Danielle, there was a lot of FORE-Shadowing going on. There was also some golf going on, which we'll talk about in a little bit too. But let's see here.
He can't spell.
No, I was saying because 4 is the number for when you yell it in golf.
No?
It's
FORE.
Really? I'm going to have to Google that for me while I talk about this.
Yeah, because I'm wrong.
Okay, but there was a lot of Danielle. It was sort of a revelation. There was also a lot of FORE-Shadowing going on. She's here to set up a lot of new mysteries, even though she's the solution to the mystery of Frenchwoman Radio Free Frenchwoman or whatever. And so basically the big mysteries, the others that she references. The others on the island or around the island or near the island. Okay.
FORE is golf.
Okay. Good to know.
Win.
I've never played golf, so that's probably why. But definitely, the others or this big mystery that she kind of sets up here. There's obviously another group on the island or with access to the island, around the island.
Somewhere.
Maybe near the Black Rock that is mentioned.
The Black Rock?
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's like their fortress or something. I picture like an encampment or a fortress or something.
See, and I just sort of pictured, the rock up on a hill or something. Because in my head it's like, Skull Rock from Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Oh, my mom had DeSimone.
But Angel in the chat room brings up a really good point.
Yeah.
It says that Danielle also mentions one of the bears.
Yes.
So is there more than one polar bear out there? I thought that was really weird because she mentions that it could be one of the bears. The noise could be one of the bears, or if they're lucky, it's one of the bears.
It's one of the bears.
Implying a monster. Then Sayid's like, "Oh, is it the monster?" And she's like, "There's no such thing as monsters."
She's crazy though.
She is crazy. She's definitely
the
crazy.
definition of crazy.
She is. She's really smart, but really crazy. But so I'm wondering, what could the worst thing be? If they weren't so lucky, if she doesn't believe in the monster, then what was she talking about? Or does she not consider the monster a monster? Right.
That's the thing. I mean,
maybe they're buddies. Maybe they have tea sometimes or something like that. Maybe they fight the bears together.
I doubt it.
No,
I doubt it.
Okay, but right there at the end, when Sayid is heading back towards the group, he starts hearing the whispering, and Danielle talks about hearing the whispering too.
But see, at first I was like, the whispering is because the wind. Like, sometimes when the wind's blowing, it sounds like voices, and it was picking up. I was just waiting for a smoke monster to come and eat him.
Yeah, well, I there's a couple possibilities. One, if these others and Danielle have a history and a whole thing going on, then I could see them being around this area where she's staying.
Right.
To track her, stalk her, find her, or whatever. So on one hand, I could totally see them being real. On the other hand, I could totally see them not being real.
Right.
Because think about what's happened to Sayid in the past 24 hours. He's had a horrible leg wound. He's been hung upside down for hours and hours and hours. He's got electroshock therapy.
Which, hey, electricity, what's up?
He's got a shot of expired sedative into his leg with a dirty needle.
How does she still have that? It's been 16 years. She really hasn't needed. First of all, why did they have it? Second of all, why does she still have it? It's been 16 years.
You'd think the loneliness would have got to her, and she would have had a drug problem at least, or oh man, I just got done fighting some bears. I need to cut it with some sedative,
or even to get the bears. To sedate a bear, to kill it, to eat it, or something. I don't know.
But yeah, basically, Sayid, he can't be all right in the head right now, right? Especially, he still has the leg wound. They don't have he doesn't have any antibiotics. Maybe they have some back at camp.
No, they don't, because that's been the struggle with everybody who gets seriously injured, is there's no antibiotics.
Yeah.
So good luck, homies. Salt water.
So I can see the argument for and against those whispers we hear at the end being real. And the one other piece of foreshadowing is what leads Sayid to Danielle, and that's the cable coming out of the ocean.
Right?
I wasn't completely sure if it was a communications cable or an electrical cable. I think it was a communications cable, though, because I thought I saw some fiber optic lines where it was ripped there. So I'm wondering, a communications cable, does that mean that Danielle has contact with the outside world, or has been trying to use this cable to gain access to the outside world? Also,
where did she get the stinking cable?
Well, not really did she get the cable, but why did somebody run a cable like this out to a remote island? Or because it's obvious.
Exactly, where did she get it?
Yeah, it's obviously not. It's obviously not like the transatlantic cable, because that goes between America and Europe. Right. So it's not a cable like that. Obviously, there's an end that is leading out to the island, and it's being tapped or potentially used for some reason. So I'm wondering how this communications cable got out to this island and why it's there, and that's kind of a mystery unto itself. Another bit of foreshadowing. A lot of foreshadowing going on in this episode. Anything from the chat room?
Oh, of course. Let's see. Michael says, you could also ask why a science team needs so many rifles. Fact, but if they were just on a boat, and depending on how many people, it kind of makes sense.
I was kind of wondering what kind of science stuff
team?
they were doing.
Right.
Yeah. Seemed kind of shady.
Right. Angel says, my theory is that the science team is somewhat related to the bears. That would explain the polar bear, and the rifles were meant more as tranquilizers. which that is totally fantastic.
That's a really good point.
If like they were
That's a really good
transporting
point.
bears and then they wrecked and the bears got out.
That's how the polar bears got there, and
It
they
makes
bred.
so much sense.
If they had just one male, one female,
That's
there
all
could be
they
a bunch of
need.
inbred polar bears running around.
Polar bears. And then he says that we're not going to find out about the cable for a few seasons, so you can put that in your bonnet and wait for it.
Oh, I'll be watching for theories and evidence and stuff like that. Evidence. Okay, Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
You're up. You want to talk some kids, right?
Okay, so the kid's on the island, or not on the island, or eventually on the island. Okay, Walt. His dad is super crazy protective over him most of the time. But then part of the time he doesn't pay him any attention and leaves him to the care of a sleeping pregnant woman. Like, he's so adamant that Walt has to stay at camp, not do anything, find his own fun and entertainment.
Yeah.
But he can't go anywhere or talk to anybody, basically. And that's a little weird. And it's a little, back and forth.
Well, I think it's a situation where Michael is not used to being a parent or an active parent. So he's feeling very helicoptery with the kid. But the thing is, at the same time, they're in this extreme situation where he feels like he needs to prove his usefulness to the group. So he's not the first guy when they decide to go cannibal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he needs to.
No, that's Rash Guy.
And he's also, I think he's enjoying finding his usefulness.
Right.
Within the group dynamic. So on one hand, he's an inexperienced father who is very helicoptery, very overprotective. But on the other hand, I think he thinks he's doing what's best for him and his son by trying to prove effective to the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it seems like a little bit of a step back because a few episodes ago they had that serious heart to heart and were working on getting to know each other and and then he just sort of was like meh today. So it just seemed a little, it's really only been like 2 or 3 days since that. So it's like,
well, that was before they came up to the caves too, and because it's a much tighter group up there, you know what I mean?
I know, but it's almost everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. And I still don't understand, why isn't he allowed to talk to Locke? Was there a reason? Was it just because Locke has a lot of knives and he doesn't want to talk to him? Like, that doesn't really make sense. I can get not letting him, go hunting in the middle of the night in the woods. Sure. I don't want to go hunting in the middle of the night in the woods. But he's just, like, even just to talk to him doesn't seem to be a...
Well, I think, Michael, at first, he was very wary of everybody.
Right.
And then, he saw what Locke could do and everything. That probably didn't help matters. But because his son saw that he was very wary of him, it kind of made him want to, gravitate towards him more.
Yeah.
I also kind of felt this episode that Walt, when he comes out to see the golf course and everything, he seems like, what are you guys doing? Like, we should be out there doing the kind of stuff Locke is doing because that's what's going to help us as a group. And so I feel like he feels like the adults are losing focus.
See, I didn't get that.
See, I did.
Obviously, since you said it. But no, what I kind of feel is that, if Michael's focused on, making everything better and, showing his place on the island and, and Walt wanting to, make things good on the island, then, they should be working together on that. Michael should be teaching Walt all of his architecture and art so that pass it on, like, so that he has somebody to help him with all of that. But he's not really he's not communicating in that way with him. Yeah. And that's frustrating.
Well, you got to think too that Locke has confided in Walt about the whole wheelchair thing. So they kind of have this secret, and that probably helps Walt think. Well, obviously, if you're a kid and you hear that someone was paralyzed and now they can walk. Yeah. You're and then you see them do all this badass kind of like, killing boars and all this stuff and providing for the group. You're going to think they're really cool. And you're going to, I feel like Walt is disappointed in
his dad,
who his dad ended up being, and is gravitating more towards Locke as a father figure. You know what I mean?
I mean, a bit. Okay.
I think he's looking towards Locke. Yeah. As a father figure.
Okay. So I know. I was checking the chat room. Thank you very much. Okay, Claire's baby. That's right. Remember Claire? She's the pregnant one. There's really been no mention of the baby.
Yeah.
You know, there's mention that Claire is pregnant, but not like we've all pretty much accepted, hi, we live here now. There have to be preparations.
Yeah.
Like, is there an old lady in the corner making diapers? Because you're going to need a few. Like, and you know, I hope there's no struggles with breastfeeding because that's your only option. There's no, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like that would be like a crazy storyline, which, yes, I know coming up next is Claire's just because
backstory.
Yeah, backstory. But it's just like there's been no mention, and it's been 3 weeks or so on the island, 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. I'd be freaking out. I'd be completely freaking out. I'm freaking out now for her, and this is 10 years ago or something.
Well, I have a feeling that, you know, if anyone's going to be kind of her helpmate or her guidance through that whole situation, it's probably going to end up being Charlie. Because they seem to have a pretty decent connection going on.
There's that, but is there, I mean, are any of the women on the island, have they ever had babies? Is there anybody, because yay for Charlie, he can only do so much in this.
Well, there's also a doctor there. So
there is a doctor.
And I'm sure, I feel with all of her doctor's book of home remedies and everything, I feel like Sun will have some midwifery skills in her back pocket too, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, it's just, you know, I don't know, becoming a mom isn't exactly an easy thing, and sure, a lot comes naturally, but it's nice to have somebody to bounce things off of. But if she's like the one and only parent on this island at all, it's kind of weird. That's also a really low, like, ratio.
Yeah.
Like, really low. Okay, and last but certainly not least, Alex.
Yes, the mysterious Alex.
Where is Alex? Okay, so Danielle had a baby at some point. How did she lose him? Did Alex toddle off? Did Alex die? Did Alex be taken by the Black Rock people?
Yeah. Well, that's the impression I got, because she thought Sayid was part of those people. Like, it was a member of that group.
Right.
And I think that's why she was torturing him and pressing him for information about Alex. Because I feel like, I almost feel like maybe they have him. Maybe they took him a long time ago or something. And maybe that's her deal with them, and why they're in such conflict, because, you know, she's just been trying to get her kid back. Okay. Maybe even so long that he's not a kid anymore. Maybe he's a teenager or a young adult.
Like, how old was he when he was lost? Was Roger killed before or after the baby was born? Because I can't imagine she'd have gone on this science mission pregnant or with a small child. Or even a medium-sized child. Like, I can't imagine taking a teenager on this type of an adventure, let alone a baby.
Maybe she had the kid after she killed her lover.
That's what I'm saying. What was Roger killed before or after? Do we think it has something to do with the smoke monster she is chasing, which is sort of what you just said? And why does Danielle think Sayid would know where Alex is? You already answered that. Ta-da. Wrapped up in a neat little bow. Tag, you're it.
Kids, anything from the chat room? Well, Michael says, how was Alex lost? A very interesting question, which means there's a definitive answer, because that's what Michael does. He puts some ellipses on the end.
Yes, that's how you know something.
You will get an answer.
Yeah, answers are coming.
Anything else here? Let's see here.
They were talking about Ethan, the guy who was going night hunting with Locke, and, well, that's pretty much all we got of him. He made an appearance and then he was gone, but apparently he's coming back. I'm sure he is, because there's only the 40-some people on the island.
Yeah, I feel like him and Rash Guy are going to become pretty major characters.
Oh, Rash Guy. He's betting his dinner.
Okay, so when Sayid was breaking out of Danielle's place, he took some stuff, right?
He did.
He took, like, all these maps and charts and things that she had laying around. So I feel like... you know, perhaps this is how he's going to get himself ingratiated to the group when he gets back with the group, when he comes back, because he has all this information now. Right. Maybe even the location of Black Rock, where there are potentially some other people. If he makes it back, obviously, because it did kind of end on a cliffhanger of him out alone in the woods, like
with the voices and stuff.
With the voices. But I really liked Sayid's journey in this episode, how he realized through the course of the episode that however capable he might be as, a trained soldier and everything, he's ultimately weaker alone. I think, Danielle's attack on him kind of solidified that for him, that, by yourself in this kind of situation, you're much weaker than you are within a group. The group makes him stronger. Although I will say, I feel like in the end, it's probably better for the group that he wasn't able to convince Danielle to
come back.
Yeah, to come back and be part of the group.
Well, it would have made no sense for her to go to the caves. Like, her place is way better. Like, well, there's structure and electricity and apparently medication of some sort. So
yeah, but at the same time, she has all this drama circling around her with the son and the others and this and that. I don't think our group. I don't think that's going to help them.
No, ain't nobody got time for that.
Although I feel like with these maps and everything, they're going to go looking for it.
Right.
So let's see here. Also, Angel brings up a really good point that he did leave the picture of Nadia behind.
He did, but he was in a hurry. He might have thought it was in his things.
Well, I almost felt like that was kind of like symbolic of his realization that he didn't focusing on the past was keeping him from being successful in his present and into his future. I feel like that kind of talk he had with Danielle there at the end was him saying, I can't let this girl or the thought of this girl weigh me down anymore. I have to move on.
Right.
And I think maybe leaving the picture behind, that's just not important to him anymore. And he's realized that that's not the most important thing.
Good times. Good times. Okay, that's me now.
Yeah. Oh, well, Michael Lucero says it also would have meant that the group would have had, if Danielle had come back with them, would have had access to a potential source of answers, so they couldn't have had her come back with them. From a writerly standpoint, I think.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so Sayid running away from his actions he's ashamed of. Is he more running away from his actions on the island or his actions that led to Nadia's presumed death? I am thinking it's actually still the punishing for Nadia and not Sawyer. It's just the actions with Sawyer brought open that wound again.
Yeah.
And he had to run away again to, mope and pout and the such. It sort of goes with what you said. It's almost like cleansing that he left the picture.
Yeah.
And, he can move on with his life now because, he said his piece. I'll see you in this life or the next. Da-da-da-da-da.
I also kind of feel like him running away at that point was because he was afraid. He opened that door again, and he was afraid of it being flung wide open and becoming that person again.
Yeah,
he
was really good at being that person, and he shouldn't.
Yeah, I definitely have some more thoughts on that coming up here too.
Oh, okay.
But you want to tell people about the contest we have going on?
We're having a contest for iTunes reviews. All reviews submitted through March, because that's how long we feel like letting this one go, will be entered to win something Lost related. We're not quite sure yet. If you have any ideas, go ahead and let us know. Probably a poster or a picture or something. But any reviews that you can leave for We're So Lost over on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you find your podcast would be fantastic.
Oh, yes, definitely. And we'll read those on the show as they come in, for sure, too.
We will read 5 stars from such and such.
Excellent. So you want to tell them about our Patreon too?
Okay, hi. We also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/universebox is a way that you can make a monthly donation to support all of our podcasts that we do. We're So Lost, Legends of Gotham, Greetings from Storybrooke, and the new Disney Passholder Project podcast.
Yes, starting this week.
Starting January 25th. So if you're listening to this on the iTunes feed, go catch up because you're behind. So, like I said, this is a way for you to make a monthly donation starting at 10 cents. It's, chunk change. But it helps us, be able to focus on our content and do a little bit better quality for you. There's also some rewards levels. We'll write you letters. We'll send you books. We'll send you audiobooks.
If you like this podcast, you get the audio version of this podcast the day we record it.
As opposed to having to wait for the iTunes feed, which could be like 2 months.
Yeah, so
there's that.
And right now we currently have 27 patrons currently giving us $138.05 per month. We love all of you, each and every one of you. Right. We want to give you a big hug.
Hugs.
If you want a hug from us, go to patreon.com/universebox.
We should send out virtual hugs to everybody.
We should.
Can we do that? Hugs.
Hugs.
Okay.
At patreon.com/universebox to support us and be awesome and be cool and be part of the cool kids club.
Right.
Be a storyteller. Patreon.com/universebox. Okay, before we get back into our main discussion, we do have a voicemail from Michael, who, if we hadn't liked the episode, would be talking us down, but instead is just going to give us his very well-educated opinion about the episode, because he's like a super Lost fan.
Our ship slammed into rocks, ran aground. The hull breached beyond repair. So we made camp, put together this temporary podcast. Temporary. Nearly 2 months we survived here. 2 months before we were coming back from the Black Rock. It was them. They were the podcasters. The others.
I love it.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Michael. This was a really great episode, one that I've been waiting for you all to get into for a while. There's a ton of stuff going on here. Sayid's motivation for the whole series, or most of it anyway, to get back to Nadia. They set that up, and we finally meet the Frenchwoman from the transmission. I don't know about you all, but the first time I watched this show, I really didn't expect to see her this soon. So that's a really interesting treat, I think. When we do...
I will say the past couple weeks on this show, I have been saying there was one thing that I remembered from when I watched the show like 10 years ago for most of the first season. And this was Danielle was what I remembered in that shack she was in.
Meet Danielle, she begins to unveil what is, to me, one of the most delicious aspects of Lost's mythology, the others. The others are really, really creepy. Who they are, what they want, why they're there on the island, that's something that you begin to learn about very gradually as the show progresses. And when we do finally start to meet some of them are among my favorite characters on the show. So right here, we already have 2 items on Anne-Marie's wish list. You begin to have a clue where additional characters might possibly come from. And you also have Sayid walking the island trying to map it and actually getting Rousseau's maps in the end. By the way, I wonder if anything interesting is written on those maps. And what do you think the Black Rock is? That name sounds very evocative, very ominous. I wonder if we'll get to see the Black Rock sometime before this season ends.
Sounds like next
episode. I don't know about you,
episode.
but I'd be very disappointed personally if we didn't. There's another thing they seeded in this episode that I really, really want to talk about, but I can't. But don't worry, you won't have long to wait because the trigger is pulled on that storyline in the very next episode. But this is one of those things where if you go back and rewatch this episode after seeing the whole season, you'll be like, oh my gosh, they put this here in this episode, and we never really realized it. So all in all, this episode is where, to me, I think the show really starts feeling like the Lost that I know and love, when the characters begin to not just survive on the island, but start having to deal with the threats that are already there. And this is where you begin to see that Lost isn't just a show about survival. It's about a place where miracles can happen, a place where people aren't necessarily who they seem, a place where you can be walking alone in a tropical jungle and hear voices in the wind. So I'll give this episode 108 out of 112 creepy whispers. As always, thank you, namaste, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Michael. We love hearing from you every week.
Seriously.
Yeah, and very, very poetically said there at the end, too.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get back into our crappy comments on it now that we've heard Michael's wonderful comments on it.
Oh, you writer people.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is I feel like Hurley has finally found his job on the island. Where Jack...
Cruise director.
Where Jack is the island physician, I feel like Hurley is going to end up being the island psychologist.
Okay.
He sees a vacuum when it comes to the quality of life for the group, and in this episode, he's definitely trying to fill it. He's also been set up to be one of the most empathetic, unselfish characters on the island. Even after Charlie insulted him a bit last episode, he was buddy with him again.
He's like, all right.
Right away. He was just like, he took it in stride. And he also feels, I feel like he just wants to help people. I expect Hurley to be kind of like the facilitator to help mend fences with all this drama that's happening within the group, like when Sayid returns. Right. Obviously Sawyer took the first step in this episode.
Which is good to see.
Definitely. But I feel like Hurley might be Sawyer's way beyond being like people tolerating Sawyer to maybe
They like him.
liking Sawyer, you know? So I like I said, I feel like Hurley is going to be the group's therapist moving forward.
I buy it.
Yeah. So.
Hell yeah, golf course.
Yeah, speaking
of, I love how Hurley stepped up and made the golf course. Everybody thought he was like just wasting time and being unsupportive. Michael, you've been wasting your time. I'm over here designing a shower thing.
He was so giddy about it too.
I know.
He was like, "Oh, I have a secret."
What are you doing, Hurley? I was like, that's fantastic. That is absolutely wonderful and makes me happy. Let's see. But this was exactly what they all needed. And I hope that they keep expanding the course over time because I feel like the 40-ish people on the island are going to get very bored of 2 holes. So let's see.
Well, there's plenty of room to expand there.
Right. Okay, so here they could do weekly tournaments. I don't know. The winner gets an extra portion of boar meat or something. A putting range. We could just knock some balls, or a putt-putt course. Imagine the traps on a putt-putt.
Michael could help design all the, the weird holes and stuff.
Right, all the moving arms and things like that. It would be fantastic. However, I do wonder what Hurley's next big adventure will be because it just feels like he gets those fun things.
Hurley's big adventure.
He
has to go to Hollywood to find his stolen bicycle.
Maybe he'll make a bicycle.
Very
that's
possible.
the thing. Okay, so now he's set up this. What is going to be his next fun thing that he sets up for everybody? Because you can only do one thing for someone.
Oh, definitely. Speaking of adventure, Michael Lucero over in the chat room says the golf course set is the same set they used for the dinosaur stampede in the first Jurassic Park. I can totally see that
Totally.
now. It's such a great vista. I loved it. And Angel said, I loved Hurley's line after Jack said that things could be worse. Because I'd be the same with how? How could they be worse? How could they be worse? I love that one. Definitely. And Michael says, one of my travel goals is to visit Hawaii and see all the lost sets in person.
Take me with you.
Do it. Okay, so we got to see a softer side of Sayid in this episode.
Side of Sayid.
I mean, obviously, we saw him in his soldier garb, doing his soldier thing, threatening to chop people's hands off, all that kind of stuff. But I think ultimately they revealed just how soft and vulnerable he really is.
He's a sweetheart.
In fact, they showed him so vulnerable and so easily manipulated by emotion that I wonder how he ended up in the army anyway. He obviously doesn't quite have the stomach for it.
I think because he is so easily manipulated by emotion. Because he even says, if I run away with you, they'll kill my family. Maybe they threatened to kill his family because if he didn't join. Like that's
so
probably
it was like fear.
Right. I think that I'm not sure exactly which country, so I don't want to misspeak. I think it's a requirement that you have to join.
I think Iraq.
Iraq?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of countries. So I don't want to that they're forced into at least X amount of years of service. But and that's what she's working against, part of what she's against.
Speaking of Nadia, I was wondering, do you think that Nadia was selected specifically because she had a history with Sayid to test his resolve as he was rising in the ranks, to see if he really had the wherewithal to, put a bullet through the head of his childhood crush?
Maybe, but he didn't even recognize her.
Well, I thought he recognized her when he was talking.
She looked familiar, but he couldn't place her until she called him out on using the wrong name.
Well, I'm just saying, military intelligence operations, all this stuff, like they might be privy to the fact that they had a previous relationship. Right. Like if it felt like either she was specifically selected or it was a huge coincidence, which if there's one other thing I remember from my original watch of this series.
Nothing's a coincidence?
Yeah, that coincidences oftentimes aren't quite coincidences, and they're all working towards an end, and there's a reason for them.
Yeah, I believe it.
So I feel like she might have been selected specifically.
Probably.
But more reasons we kind of see that Sayid is soft and vulnerable and squishy in this episode is that even after how she treats him, he gives Danielle every opportunity to do right by him and let him free and let him go. I don't feel like he would have attacked if she just untied him when he was trying to fix the music box and
Right.
everything. In the end, I feel like he had no choice but to betray her trust. And he was really upset by that. I think he was hoping that she would come around.
Right.
But then he realizes that she's crazy.
Well, he realizes she's crazy
Mm-hmm.
and that she's, she leaves with a gun. And at this point, she now knows that his whole group is there.
Yeah.
So for all he knows, she's going hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to go hunt the survivors, whatever we're calling them.
Yeah.
So
Castaways.
the castaways,
Survivors.
the camp,
Yeah.
the people of the caves
Mm-hmm.
and beach.
But, I think over the course of the episode where I was a little distrustful of him after the whole torture thing.
Right.
In the end, I'm confident that he has a good heart and
Mm-hmm.
he's a good man underneath, all the military training.
Right.
And the Sawyer situation, I think, honestly was a fluke. He's regretful of it. He was scared by it, scared straight, as it were. And I honestly think he hates himself for going there. And I don't think we'll see a repeat of that, at
don't
least
think
among
so.
the group.
Right.
Like
Maybe
I could
an
see
enemy.
him striking out against someone who attacks the group,
Right.
or something. But and that might come in handy, honestly.
Right.
But I feel like he's a good man, definitely. Okay, Michael over in the chat room says that Sayid is an interesting character. They veer towards Orientalism in him a little bit, but never quite go there all the way, preferring to subvert that trope. He's always a three-dimensional human being and is often more practical and sensible than many of the other characters. Yeah, he's definitely the logical guy.
Yeah.
He's the professor. We've been
Yes,
calling
he's
him the
definitely
professor.
the professor.
Yeah, if Lost is Gilligan's Island, he's the professor.
and Marianne.
Okay, so you want to want to
Okay, I have one complaint.
eviscerate the triangle.
I'm so sick of the broody love triangle. Like, I'm so sick of Kate, Jack, and Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing anything interesting. They're saying literally the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Move on. Like, is Sawyer being annoying? Cool. Walk away. Walk away. Kate doesn't know what she's having issues figuring out who she cares about. And she's like, Sayid's been gone a whole 2 days. Yeah, he left the group, sweetheart.
Yeah.
And then you're just making everybody mad bringing it back because, she says that to Jack and he's like, he's a trained soldier. He'll be fine. I'm like, dude. So I'm just they're really boring me, and you shouldn't be bored by your main characters.
Well, I feel like the romantic plot line between them, it really can't add up to much, especially when there's so much interesting stuff going on around it.
No, Michael, no. He says, sorry to tell you, Henry, the love triangle is not going to go away.
Well, hopefully it goes somewhere interesting at
Right?
least. Definitely.
Somebody get pregnant. I live in a land of like teen mom. Everybody just gets pregnant.
Okay, as long as we're talking problems, I didn't have this in my notes, but I just wanted to point out, we were talking about it before the show, was that I think it's really weird that Sun has become kind of like Michael's nurse, assistant, medicine woman, Dr. Sun medicine woman. But her husband still doesn't know she speaks English.
How?
Jen doesn't.
I don't
know.
understand.
Like, it feels weird. It feels like it's gone on too long, and that he needs to be told, or at least he needs to realize
to figure it out.
Yeah, because
he needs to recognize.
Yeah, because he's not a dumb guy.
Right.
He's obviously fallen into some bad things, and it's now kind of cruel and everything. But he's not a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination. That needs to be fixed. Okay, all these problems. Anything else from the chat room before
No, not really.
Okay, so out of 47 murdered loved ones, how many murdered loved
way
ones?
to change the scale. Still
Do you
sticking
give
with
this episode?
47. I am going to give this episode 40.
40.
40.
Why?
Why? Well, because Danielle, it's pretty much all for, it's all Danielle. And props to her. Well, I guess Sayid did pretty good and Hurley did pretty good. I just, it was really good. There was lots of revelations and such, but it just didn't quite wow me as much as I wanted it to.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, as for me, I'm going to go... I think I liked it just a little less than you did.
Really?
Like, I really like the revelations. I like the mysteries being set up. But some of it just... It wasn't the most compelling backstory.
No, it was awful backstory.
It felt a little trite compared to some of the other ones. A little
there was no twist.
Yeah.
There was no twist.
It's like I've seen this story a million times kind of thing. So I'm going to give it 39 murdered loved ones. You know what? I'll give it 39 and a half. So like 39 adults and a kid.
Nice, I think.
And Alex.
Oh, poor Alex. Michael Lucero gives it 45 and a severed arm.
45 and a severed arm? That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Good things.
Excellent. But again, we didn't dislike it so much that we're not going to watch it next week. And we still liked it overall.
Right. Let's just be honest. I'm going to watch the next episode tonight because that's what I do usually.
Yeah, right after the podcast.
Right after the podcast because I can't watch more than one in a row, which really kills me. I am a binge watch-aholic. It's a problem. I watched the entire series of the 100 in like 4 days. Anyway.
But... if you have thoughts about what we thought about this episode, if you have thoughts about upcoming episodes, just clearly label them.
Yes,
then
please.
email us, we're so lost podcast @gmail.com. The Facebook is facebook.com/we're so lost. The Twitter's @we're so lost. The voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter @DeSimone, and I'm always posting and resharing everything that we do. So
Last minute from the chat room, Angel T says
44
murdered loved ones. The plot thickens. I did like the stuff with Sayid. I actually kind of like the backstory. I don't mind the lack of a twist. The side plot B was all right, but that's it. And let's see here. Okay, so as for me, you can find me online. I'm @Bill Meeks. You can find all of the podcasts we do at universebox.com. And you know what? You can if you're listening to the audio and you're like, man, I wish I could just binge through a bunch more episodes of this. We release these the night we record them for video at youtube.universebox.com. So
Absolutely.
Check that out over there if you want to see our shiny faces.
Hi, we're
we
pretty.
make silly faces with the camera.
We always make silly faces.
You know what? Because I think if we did, we'd kind of lose our place in the notes, and yet it would just be another situation where
we're so lost. Aw, you didn't change it. There's my silly face.
Silly faces all around. Thanks you guys for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for
we
joining
absolutely
us.
love you. Actually, here,
day, but it's not snowy for you.
I'll give you titles.
No, just do that one.
Just do
that one.
Just do FORE-Shadowing.
FORE-Shadowing.
Okay, that's the title then.
It's so much better than the other option.
Yeah, which was Kill Your Darlings.
It's not that good.
Yeah, it's not that good.
It's not that good.
It's not that good. Nope. Okay,
thank you guys.
Thanks guys so much. Please, if you're
okay. Confession.
If you're around Monday night, please join us for our first episode of our Disney podcast. That should be fun. And we'll be back sometime next week with another episode of We're So Lost. Yeah. Probably around Wednesday when we normally do it.
Yeah, we got to get back to that. This week was just insane.
Yeah, we had a lot of guest stuff.
We did commentaries. We did a guest spot on a trivia podcast coming out Tuesday. And then we recorded a special for the DC movie stuff on Wednesday.
And I did like 3 podcasts at work. And,
who cares about work?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
okay, thanks guys.
Bye.
We
Thank
love
you.
Good night.